Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into University of Chinese, and welcome to October, the first episode. And in this month, we are going to do something consistent, but it's its own unit. We're going to do 3-character Chinese phrases. I started doing One Word a Day with 4-character Chinese phrases, which are more kind of ancient wisdom encapsulated in this time-honored expressions, and a lot of times such expressions can be traced back to some famous historical figure, some story or the legend has it, right? Something happened, and then that expression caught on and preserved in the language over the years. So 3-character Chinese phrases, a lot of times it's not that long-standing, and they cannot be traced back to a particular historical figure. So if 4 characters, if we generalize them, okay, 4 characters are more like highbrow, more like created or you started by some author or somebody who can be named, who has a name in history. 3-character Chinese phrases are more likely from the people, from the everyday usage, sometimes very humorous way to describe a life situation, and they are created by nobody. So somebody 4, nobody 3, and 3-character Chinese phrases because it's 3, right? It's odd number, so it's in itself the phrase itself is asymmetrical, and so this imbalance have innate quality of being a little bit funnier than the stable 4-character formal expressions. Okay, let's start. 拍马屁. Well, there's no particular significance or consequence why I chose to open the 3-character month with 拍马屁, but this is one of the most commonly used Chinese expressions that's kind of funny, got action in it, pat, right? And 马屁, there's a horse, an animal involved, and 屁, the butt. This is equivalent to English ass kissing. So Chinese, instead of use kissing, we use patting. English, we have back patting, right? Back patting is kind of comforting, encouraging, cheerleading, have that connotation. So pat in Chinese, and you can see 拍 and pat, kind of similar sounding as well, right? That's an interesting, 2 language, kind of a mirroring each other thing, that also have a similar connotation of pat. It's lightly tap, it's not hit. There's no intention of hurt anybody. Instead, it's a physical touch, light, short, maybe higher frequency. So it's kind of like that. That's 拍 in Chinese. Okay, so pat. If you see the composition of Chinese and made of 5-finger hand symbol, normally Chinese hand symbols are 3-finger hand symbol. When we use 5, probably is like a full hand is involved. I don't exactly know when in certain situations we use 3-finger hand symbol versus 5. Okay, 5-finger hand symbol, you may see the middle finger kind of tilted. There's no connotation of middle finger. I mean, there's no cultural hand symbolization of the middle finger in English. I only learn about this, flipping when I study English for a while, and I understand that's an English special expression, hand gesture. Now, Chinese doesn't have any significance in the middle finger. And this tilting is solely created or added on later in language evolution, because this 5-finger hand symbol, originally looking like this, kind of converged to a independently developed character that means hair or fur of animal. So we express fur as something horizontally fluffy thing. We use horizontal, and simplified something like a hand symbol as well. So it's very difficult to distinguish the two. Sometimes when you write quickly, they just look the same. So when the two converge, somebody have to arbitrarily diverge them again. Otherwise, it will create confusion, right? So someone decided right tilted, add this one extra stroke on the top. The right tilting is the hand symbol, the left tilting is the hair symbol. And, the whole culture has to adopt it and make it a standard. So all the language users agree on this arbitrary addition. Okay, that's the hand. Right side pronounced as bai, means 100. So the other day, it struck me that bai, it can further be unpacked into horizontal line means 1. The rest of them means white, 1 white. So it suddenly struck me that it could be, because 100, right? It's a new number, a particularly rounded up number. And I think in English 100 and in Chinese bai, this numerical number has a certain significance in culture because we're going to use this unit a lot, right? Whenever the value gets like bigger than 100, then this 100 are going to show up, right? So the 100 as a unit of measurement may start from currency. Then the other day I realized, could it be 1 white? Means the white implies to the silver because kind of white color versus copper, the lower value currency back then, make kind of like a coins, and then maybe after 100 coins string together, they can be converted into 1 white, kind of a 1 white color or 1 silver. Different color signify different value unit, right? It could be that I need to do some more research on that. Okay, so 1 white, 100. Now, 100 hand, 100 hand, somehow together, it means padding. So my interpretation of that is, okay, if it's hand symbol, it's something related to what your hand do, right? Your hand can do a variety of things, but when it pairs with 100, that could mean, probably in the way back then, when people are doing transaction, when they make a deal or something, they do this padding gesture and they relate it to deal making. It could be, right? We don't know. Or I'm thinking padding means lightly tap, right? And sometimes repeated, kind of high frequency. So we use 100 to not mean exactly 100. That means many of padding. And if it's many, it's not like explosive power being used, right? It's likely repetitive kind of power. Then you can associate that motion with more like tapping, padding, than hitting, striking, right? Okay, so there are 2 ways to explain it, but in any case, this in Chinese current formation classified as sound maker, meaning maker. Oh, no, sound maker is the bai, because bai and pai kind of share the sound, right? Switch out the consonant. And with the meaning maker, that's some hand motion with on the left. So I often like to think the sound maker, we choose not only use it for its sound, but also use it for the meaning. So I'm trying to connect the dot of how 100 and hand somehow in our time, at the later age, we use it as pet. Okay, ma simply is a physical depiction of the animal horse. This, you see horizontal hairs, that's the mane of horse. Horses have this main feature of having this awesome long hairy manes that will flow, right, when they are galloping. So that creates the beauty and shows the vitality of the horse, and it became a main feature that's identifiable of the horse as an animal. And then the forelegs and the tail. So main features captured in this one character. And you can see here is simplified Chinese. We don't have the legs anymore, just one horizontal line. In replacement of 4 dots, and that means 4 hoofs. So there were, over time, simplification process that going on, and it became this. It's kind of featureless. You cannot really tell, versus the ancient one, you do can somewhat recognize features from horse. Okay, P. So this outer, like top and left, this frame, it means body. So sometimes it means dead body a lot of times, because this part was an abstraction, and eventually when it got incorporated as a part, a component to make some other characters, it got exaggerated, but it's out of proportion now. Originally, it was just the head of a dead animal, and the long stroke here means the remaining, the body, lifeless body of animal or human, possibly, because the head is kind of the biggest, 3D structure, and the rest of the body kind of flat, right? So that's the depiction of Chinese of some lifeless body there. And eventually we use that as something related to the body, anatomy thing. Okay, the bottom here means, well, each one of them is a knife or dagger. Okay, 2 of them means comparing the dagger. Okay, the dagger right now in this way, this formation is hard to recognize, but this was transformed from the original dagger writing. This is kind of handle, and the rest of them kind of depicting the blade portion of the dagger. So 2 daggers next to each other means a comparing, and also you can view it as 2, like double, right? And so this together somehow means but. Again, we don't know the language creator. It could be like a borrowed from some other meaning and used as but, because it's relatively simple, only a few strokes, and then it doesn't, it could, the trace related to the meaning generation, that means the physical part on human body. Here we can see it's somewhere related to human body, but why 2 daggers, meaning comparison, used in combination of this body, then means a particular part of the body, that's butt. So that's a mystery. I don't exactly know. My thinking is could be, but you have 2 butt cheeks, so it's like 2 daggers over there. But why daggers means butt cheek? I don't know that. But I have to point out this butt. When you use this character alone, standing alone, if you utter P, it could mean bullshitting just by itself. And because P, when you use it on its own, actually means fart, means the air that goes out from the butt area. And then it can mean also ma pi, when you attach it to a particular animal that owns this butt, then it means the structure of the butt. It's no longer the gas, right? It means the physical thing attached there, not the air coming out of it. So the P have 2 fundamental meanings. One is butt, one is the air from the butt, which is the fart. Okay, so pai ma pi is a Chinese way to say ass kissing or ass. Yeah, it's the behavior of ass kissing. And I guess it's a universal, right? Because in English and Chinese, we both have such expressions to describe this behavior of Sometimes not honest opinion. I guess most of the times it means insincere complimentary of somebody to gain a favor from that person. And a lot of times there is this power structure involved. It's always the lower power position person asking kids up, right? So 拍马屁 also in Chinese could mean that, but it could also in a dating practice is mostly men ass kissing the girl, right? It's part of the wooing or courtship ritual that you have to ask kiss a lot to gain favor or get attention from somebody. So it's not totally, well, I guess in a dating situation, it's a sort of power structure as well, because girl is the one who decides yes or no in most practices. Okay, so 拍马屁, it's not, it's not like accusational, like somebody is bad. It's just a, human behavior that we see often in life, and we use 拍马屁 to say it. So you may say, why horse? Why we drag this human behavior, drag horse into this human thing? A legend has it that in Mongolia, because they are the horse people, and when they trade horses, if the trader of the two party, right, recognize a good horse from the other party, they will tap. they will tap the butt area of the horse as a compliment, like a body language compliment of that's a good horse. But sometimes people are not sincerely doing that. They just pat on every butt of the horses, and then as a complimentary to the trader, right? Regardless of horse. So the judgment is about the trader. It's like you're trying to gain favor from that trader, saying something toward the trader, right? Sending the message to the trader rather than have an honest assessment of the horse. So eventually it lost its value of, you're being sincere by patting this. That's every horse you pat up. And then people use that expression to mean, okay, it's really meaningless talk, is solely for the purpose of ass kissing. All right, that's Chinese 拍马屁. Hashing to the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you next day.